Hello there, it's me, back again. And this is just going to be a video slightly off the cuff. I've got nothing planned, no kind of script to read off or anything. This is just going to be me just talking for a bit. Mainly about what I think of Flat Earth in general and how I became to know about all this rubbish, in my opinion, and the people that you meet and the way they try and swing things around to show that you're the terrible person in all this. It's just because things have to be said, because a lot of these videos now that are going around trying to supposedly prove Flat Earth are getting out of hand, and they're getting more ridiculous as time goes on. As you can see, I got no fancy little video up here or anything like that. I'm not gonna go through anybody's videos like Russian vids or Jeranisms or anybody like that, or educate yourselves videos. Just me talking. Right. Flat Earth, for me, I didn't even know it was a thing until I watched Ahmed Skeptic's video back in January of the globe was an inside job. And I found it all very fascinating. I found it hilarious, because I was like, really? Can people be this stupid? No, can't be. And I watched Ahmed Skeptic kind of tear through his videos, Jeranism's videos, this might be, and, really show the thing. But then, I started looking at more, Flat Earth videos. And I love conspiracies. I find them interesting. I like the way of thinking that goes behind them to find out what you think is going on. But after a while, it started to scare me slightly after watching other Flat Earth videos. I was like, oh, geez, do they really have a point? God, can they actually be right, maybe? I wasn't entirely sure. But then I started watching videos by Red's Rhetoric, Cool Had Logic. Then that took me to other, anti-Flat Earth videos such as Sci Strike. I can't remember some of them off the top of my head, but some are brilliant, especially Red's Rhetoric, Cool Had Logic, and Sci Strike. And I've made a couple of my own, and I then started to realise just how stupid this all is. And that how little amount of thinking really goes into anything of what any of these people say. And it's, I started to realise just how much information and how much of the observations and how much of anything people like Jeranism and, Russian vids and whoever his followers are seemingly ignore to get what they want. And Jeranism's videos, he always talks about, things don't make sense, but because if things don't make sense to him, that automatically means conspiracy, and that's enough for his grounds. The guy does no research, he does no observations of his own. He just, I hate to be rude, and I'm gonna have some fruity language in this and many other things, so beware. The guy essentially pulls facts out of his ass and states them as absolute fact, like his understanding trumps that of the educated world, and that's how he continues to do his videos. The guy always says, oh, I'm a researcher, I do my own experiments. Like, no, you don't. You really don't, Jeranism, and this kind of shit has got to stop. That open letter to Trump video was the last straw. Where you said to you in that part of the video, you've allowed, the 50 years of lies to be taught as fact. Jeranism, you have to prove that they are lies first, before you go to something of that scale and magnitude. But you haven't. Like all of your videos, and like many other Flat Earthers' videos besides, they always see bubbles. Like, they're like that Finding Nemo fish, the yellow one, bubbles, bubbles. they go crazy after these things. And I guarantee you, no thought at all went into what those quote-unquote bubbles could be. They could be pieces of frozen water, perhaps, ice molecules, we don't know. Micrometeoroids, particles, dust, things come out of ship. Who's to say that in the vacuum of space, that space is a complete void with nothing in it? There could be loads of things there. But no, bubbles is the only thing they can be in their minds, and they use that proof every single time in every single video. And it's getting old. It's getting ridiculous. And my biggest gripe with many flat earthers is that they just do not listen. No matter what they ask questions all the time. But when you give them an answer, they're not happy with it. They just add in conspiracy, that's it, done. Like, on Twitter the other day, I had a bit of an argument with a flat earth believer about the moon and why it's impossible to have a waxing gibbous moon at 3 p.m. on the flat earth globe model. Excuse me. And, I started saying, well, of course it's, possible. Why isn't it? Explain why it isn't. Then he told me to go and get a light and a ball and everything. But then he never took into consideration the time of year and, time of month and everything. Because if you look up waxing gibbous moons and the time scale of it, they are expected at 3 p.m. at certain times of the year. But because he doesn't understand how the things work, he claims fakery and conspiracy. And, he asked me to, put up or shut up. And I was like, right, okay, I'll spend some time on this. I'll give him a proper answer. And the thing is, the reality dawned on me. It doesn't matter what I showed that dude. It won't matter what I showed him. I could have showed him things like this, of a 3D solar system. Of a 3D solar system. I could have showed him every single model out there and presentation and things to show that it is possible to see that type of moon during the day. But he probably won't take it in. He would not listen. He'd cry, fakery, oh, the website's in it, blah, 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 blah. Because that's the easiest way out for these people. And so I decided not to. And I found out a couple of days later that he was having the same argument with somebody else, so I thought, right, leave it there. Because, unfortunately for me, I kind of dig myself into holes sometimes when arguing to many of these people, which is why I leave it to Red's Rhetoric, Cool Had Logic, and Science Strike, who have the maths and the science knowledge behind them. Me, I go purely by observation. And sometimes flat earthers will ask me deliberate questions in chat about the science behind things, knowing damn well that I can't answer. And I can point them to as many, documents proving what they're talking is bollocks. But unfortunately, that's not good enough for them. And it strikes me as amazing that in many videos, so many people are their self-proclaimed kind of masters of a given field, like Jeranism, right? And Jeranism is going to feature heavily in this video of mine because the dude is a total, I don't like to be rude, but the guy's a total moron, okay? And the guy essentially, without no backing to his well, the stuff that comes out of the deepest parts of his ass, when you show him anything, let's take a video of the 24-hour sun in the South Pole, okay? Him and his friends look at this video, and because the video is too good for them, and it proves them wrong, they have to then say, well, this is what they could have done to make this video. Like that's good enough for grounds to debunk anything. And then he, claims that, the shadows are all wrong, based on nothing. But it's facts that are pulled out of his ass, like everything, when he quote mines things from a million different websites, pulls those quotes apart, mashes them into a sentence, and that's good enough for his followers. I'm sorry, but him and his followers and his fellow YouTubers, the Globebusters, they kiss each other's ass more times than any kind of group I have ever seen. Every one of his videos, they follow him, great vid, this is amazing, without even caring to, because it's what they want to hear, it's what they want to see. And this is my major gripe with this whole flat earth thing, is that these people always ask for truth. They claim. Jeranism's famous quote, "Open up your mind, there's truth inside." Well, that statement itself makes no sense, Jeranism, but I'll let you keep it. But the only trouble is, when Jeranism asks for things to be explained to him, he doesn't like it. He always has to, after you answer it, he then becomes a genius and answers it himself. And that why the answers you gave him are wrong, based on completely nothing. All of his videos looking at ISS, they're in a swimming pool, you can see a scuba diver's hand, which it was just a shadow, but then that shadow's wrong according to him, based on what, I have no idea. And so many videos are the same. The reflections are wrong, the light is wrong. Why can't you see any stars, which is something that's been explained to people about 1,000,000 times? The only thing on this planet that can pick up stars without a heavily exposed kind of shot is your human eye. Which is why, all time-lapse videos, the human eye is extremely powerful. This is why we can see stars at all. And it's little things like, teaching, it got me into a rage when these people are teaching their kids to say that NASA are full of shit and everything's lies, the Earth's flat. One kid thought it was one father kept on giving him shot questions. I think I know what video Jeranism is. He put it on thing. But guy goes, "Why is the sky blue?" "Because it's water." To me, that just blew my mind, because it's the stupidest thing I've ever seen, ever heard in my life. And then he asked his child, "What are stars?" And the child just goes, "Lights." Well, yes. Of course they're lights, otherwise we won't see them. But what are those lights? There has to be a physical object somewhere. But no, unfortunately. It's, a lot of these people are claiming facts and claiming all this information is truth without 100% positivity, whether they know what they're talking about at all. Like many flat earthers, from Eric Dubay to Jeranism to Mark Sargent to anybody, and many others, they love quoting people. And quoting people that use sentences or phrases or things like this that match their way of thinking. It makes it seem more dramatic, makes it seem like, makes them seem more correct, make them seem more in tune with the times. And that's it. Like that's good enough for them for the grounds of fact. And I've watched a lot of these videos. I don't know why I do this to myself. I need to stop, but it's interesting. And I look at some of the people that comment on Jeranism's videos, and the guys have no idea. They just lap it all up and kiss his butt. That's all they ever do. And Jeranism is in no right to say anything that all he gets is ridicule, and the Flat Earth Society get ridiculed and name calling and all this kind of thing, when some of his videos that he does takes the piss out of people very heavily. The most disgusting video of this is when he mocked and took the mick out of Stephen Hawking's, which is the most disgusting thing I have ever seen on YouTube. On one of them, I'm sure there's more worse, but you know what I mean. that video was deplorable in all senses. Just because he thinks the conspiracy of the fact that the real Stephen Hawking is dead gives you no right to use Stephen Hawking as a springboard for jokes to further your cause. And lo and behold, comment section laughs it up and loves it. This is the unfortunate basis on where we live. Then it goes on creationism and, and all this kind of thing, even though I'm quoting here, because I've seen the video myself, where he seems to think about, you don't want to be created, and thinks this is wrong, even though Jeranism in one video, and I quote, said, Christianity is a pile of shit, Jesus Christ can suck my dick. And they're words coming from Jeranism, this is. So we know what kind of mindset and what kind of a person he truly is. Okay? And this is the thing. It winds me up when I talk about this. But it's so good to see that there are so many people out there that talk sense. And that use the science. I mean, like, they don't believe in gravity. Well, how do things fall? Our weight. Yeah, but what gives things weight? Oh, it's buoyancy. Look into things. And, because Jeranism has said many times that he thinks that all science and everything to do about astronomy and everything that is all fake. Which, when you zoom back out and rethink about what he's just said there, you'd realise how much of a statement that is. Does you mean to tell me that all astronomers, from the professional to the amateur, all are in on this? And that those amateurs who become professionals, who then in his mind, if it's all fake, then find out that their passion is not real, that they're all talking lies about astronomy and everything. It's quite amazing that they don't seem to feel angered by all this and then spread the word of the lies. Same goes with Eric Dubay, where he talks about dinosaurs and things being faked. Well, it's just rubbish, because there are many amateur paleontologists who have found fossils of dinosaurs and things like skulls and things. And the tens of thousands of other paleontologists who have found the same. And he goes, why don't they put them on display? Yeah, that's funny, yeah. Put a 65 million year old fragile skeleton for everybody to poke at and touch and graffiti on. Sorry, I'm getting a little angry here and off topic slightly on the flat earth, but what I don't understand is why they seem to think that the flat earth model is seemingly better. Because the way some of these people talk is that the flat earth is, if we found out that the earth was flat, we'll suddenly become a utopia of peace. And all calm and all wars would end. And I heard one comment the other day where this guy said, I need a refund. Well, you didn't buy anything from NASA, so what the fuck's the refund? And he goes, it'll sort out our national debt. Well, actually, no. The national debt is in its trillions. The 50-year running cost of NASA is only about 790 billion, so that will solve jack and shit. But I don't understand. So, to you, living on a planet with loads of other planets in our solar systems where we can go and explore and visit and then trying to explore the other wonders of the expanse of space, that, we can explore like what we are, like humans, are born to do. We explore, we thrive in the unknown. But somehow, on a flat earth, you think it's better that we've got a circle of ice that we cannot pass. B, we live under a dome, which we cannot pass either, under the full control of a god, which basically then takes away our complete reasoning for free will. So that makes no sense to me. And then, is the flat earth community are never on the same page. There are some people who think it's an infinite plane, which, many people have explained many times it's quite impossible. you know. Then there are people who think there's just a circle of ice, which we cannot pass. You know? And I'm sorry, but let's put it this way. If that circle of ice, right, was true, that would be one of the most impossible things to basically patrol. You know, it's just not possible. I don't understand, you know, and I've gone over the stars a million times, and I'm not going over it again. You know, videos, things like this, you know, I really don't think so. Like this map, which, this is an equidistant map, and the maths used in this map are maths to coincide with the stretched, you know, contents here, because the guy can't just wedge in more water, otherwise that ruins the maths of what he's doing. But, you know, they always claim, you know, you get the UN flag conspiracy. But the thing is, though, this isn't a flat earth map anyway, it's a projection, and they use this projection to make the logo. But no, and then there's the Freemason rubbish and all that kind of thing, and this is how things, you know, is that really what you see? I mean, really? And like, you know, you really think this is how things go? And the thing is, if it's an infinite plane, that means there is no dome. There is no firmament. If you know what I mean. And this is just people's understanding of what they thought was reality at the time. Let me just give you an example. People thought of, let's say, the waters above. Okay? The waters above the firmament. Okay? People said the waters above back then because they didn't understand, most likely, where water came from. They understood clouds, but they didn't really understand probably how the whole system of rain worked. Okay? So they looked at they looked at the ocean, saw that it was blue. Looked at the sky, saw that it was blue. That's where rain comes from, so hence water. So that's where they came with the idea of the waters above. It's quite that simple. You know, and then you get, you know, more things like this, like Samuel Robotham's map, which apparently Robotham was a man who was pro flat earth, but apparently these people think that this guy was never wrong, apparently, for some reason. You know, they believe everything that he was saying with flawless accuracy, but any other scientist, oh, they're wrong. Like the people who say that Einstein was a sellout. Yeah, that's right, yeah. Make fun of somebody who was probably more smarter than you, more intelligent than you can possibly imagine. But yeah, that's fine, whatever makes you happy. And I'm getting sick of all this. You know, Jeranism's videos are getting worse and worse and worse and worse. Well, they were never good, let's face it. Like the fact that he thinks that his understandings and his knowledge trumps that of Hawking, which is astonishing to me. You know, he tries to, you know, debunk Armoured Skeptic, but even though he fails miserably in this video, to be quite honest with you, and there are the people that cover this video many times. The open letter to Donald Trump. Look, this, for example, a scuba tank in space, because it can't be anything other than anything else other than a scuba tank, apparently. You know, because he all thinks it's all CGI. Yeah, but, you know, just leave him have his thing. Now, you know, I'm probably going to get a lot of hate from what I'm about to say, is that about, like, they say, the original moon landings, okay? I'm perfectly up for the idea that the first moon landings were faked. You know, political pressure, America wanted to get there first. It's, you know, military, can't say it, but for military purposes, because that means that America had a higher kind of altitude over anybody else. Many other things as well. I can understand, you know, the technology, but them hiding that the Earth is a globe, the Earth's a globe, but they're hiding the fact that it's flat. No, that's just going too far. You know, these videos how to be a dirtbag, which the irony there is hilarious because Jeranism really does show. Then look, here's his globe busters. It's a bloody big joke to those people. And they bust completely nothing. And I'd like to interject something here about the gyros. Okay, so let's just, you know, gyros, flat Earth. Okay. I'm going to say that many things with the gyros, in my opinion, are a misunderstanding of what needs to be done. Because these people claim that you sit a gyro flat, right? And as the Earth turns during the day, with this gyro staying put, that the gyro should turn. Now, to me, that does not make sense. I don't understand how, you know, and you can even tell from this footage that it's not staying in the same place, which is what they're basing most of this off. I would like you, I would think that what needs to be done is that you need to put that gyro on a moving object that's relatively steady and smooth, obviously, otherwise you don't want to ruin the kind of gyroscopes thing. I'd like you to get an unassisted and uncorrected gyro, plop it on something, let's say like a blimp, because the blimps are very steady, and go hundreds of miles in one of those things and see what happens then. And go hundreds of miles, if not thousands of miles, if they can go that far, on a steady kind of trajectory. Then do that experiment. But we're yet to figure any of that out. But, you know, and the terms of why everything, you know, looks the way it does is, you can explain things to Flat Earth as much as you like. They're never going to listen. So, you know, it's sad days for humankind that there are people that are quite this blinded by their hatred for the government and hatred for many other kind of things. Yes, the governments lie. We get it. But things like this, no. But, you know, I might make more videos in the future. Hopefully less ranty and hopefully less swaying off topic about 100 times. But we'll see how everything goes. This is what I think of the whole Flat Earth group and the whole Flat Earth Society. That they are the biggest bunch of, sorry to be rude, but they are the biggest bunch of ass kissers out there. And they just don't think things through at all and ignore when people give you science. So, you know, what's the point? But whatever makes them happy, you know. That's why most of the time I'm going to leave all the sciencey and mathy stuff to people like Red's Rhetoric, Cool Ad Logic and Side Strike, and I'm going to keep on going through observational facts. And this has been good, and I'll see you again.